Welcome back to your hour. I'm being joined now by Jamie Whitfield, who's my assistant, and her sister, Shanda Hunter.
Yes.
Uh, and let me point out, in case anybody's watching who knows that they're not actually sisters, they are cousins, so they are related. But they're as close as sisters. They were brought up that way, so they do claim to be sisters, and I think that's appropriate.
Yes.
So, Shanda, the reason we brought you in here today was because Jamie thought it was important, and I agree, to point out to people that an addiction really takes a toll on relationships. And it took a toll on yours, didn't it?
Well, to a point, not, I wouldn't say for the worst it took, a toll on, but it wasn't like how we were raised. We were close, and then as her addiction got worse, she kind of backed away from me, and it was just, it wasn't the same.
Right. So, how did that affect you? I mean, what did you think about that during that time?
Um, I just knew I had to be there for her kids mostly, and everybody has a down time in their life. That's how I feel. And as long as I was there for her kids, I was actually there for her. And so as she, went on with her addiction and stuff like that, it didn't really hurt me. I mean, it hurt me. Don't get me wrong. It's a hurting thing, but I knew she'd come back around.
So
And as
you
long as I
always had
stayed,
hope.
yeah, I always had hope, no matter what. But as long as I was there for her kids, I think she realized, oh, I don't know, like I had to get better and stuff like that. I didn't pressure her, like I wasn't like out there like, Jamie, you have to go, you're an addict and all that. I didn't do that. Sometimes I wish I did,
Yeah.
but as long as I was there for her kids, I felt like it'd come back.
Did you ever resent having to pick up the slack?
No, never did.
That's good.
Never did. Because her kids had nothing to do with mom's addiction. But I had to stay with her kids just so they can get through their life, basically.
Right.
But I never resented it. Never resented picking up the slack or nothing. It got tiresome.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Because she had young kids and my kids were older.
Yeah.
So, but I never resented it. No.
Well, she's got really pretty cool kids.
Yeah, she does. She does.
Thank you.
During this time, it's a heartbreaking time. I know from experience, seeing your own relative, whether it's a sibling or a son or a daughter, cousin,
Right.
whatever, when you've got someone close to you that's going through this, and you know that there's really no way you can reach them, how does that make you feel?
It's sad, It makes you sad. It really does. Because I seen Jamie before she got addicted as a mother and everything. She was perfect. Her kids were everything. And then when she got, now I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
Why'd I start
I
crying?
came prepared.
So as I saw the addiction tear her down, I don't know, it just makes you sad. And then you don't know which way to go. But I think as long as I stuck with her kids and everything, she was able to, get help on her own and come out of a serious problem.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that when you have that kind of a support system that supports you no matter what, that's a gift.
It is. And with our family, we're all close, but you have a side of our family that will tear you down. And so I thought if I was the cousin sister that try to keep everything up, like, oh, she's going to be okay, she's going to realize and all that, I thought she'd come out of it faster.
Yeah.
But there's
Took
people.
a couple years.
Yeah, it took a couple years. But nobody realizes all the years before. When she was the number one mom, her kids meant everything. She did everything for her husband, her mom, which is my aunt, her kids. And then when this addiction took her down, it was like somebody has to be there for her and her kids to make her, come back to the Jamie that we want her to be.
Yeah.
You know.
And that you always knew she
Knew,
could
yeah.
be. Yeah. Um, because I have a little bit of experience with an adult son who has kicked his addiction, but it wasn't easy, and he was going through it for a lot longer than Jamie did, and you at some point in time you just, or at least I did, I just kind of gave up. I quit calling him. I quit inviting him to come around for different events and stuff because I didn't know him.
Right.
It was like, this isn't the kid I raised.
Exactly. That's how, that kind of happened between us because when she became addicted and stuff, she was with some people that I just didn't approve of.
Right.
So I was just like, I just quit calling her. I just quit going by. As long as I was with her kids and stuff like that. And my aunt would tell me how she was doing and all that. But I quit any kind of communication with her really for about a year, maybe less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did that make you feel?
Well, at the time, I was okay with it because I was so deep off into my own world and addiction that I wanted to stay away from her because I didn't want her to see me like that, and it was hard to tell the lies. Oh, I'm not using, and I had been up for 3-4 days, or I'm wide awake at 2 a.m. and, when normal people are sleeping, and I tried to hide the fact that I was still using. And it just, when you're around people that are your family and stuff and they know you, you can't get anything over on them,
No.
And so I knew that. And so I tended to drift away from her as well because I didn't want her to see me that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, we're going to, at some time in the future, we're going to be talking to your kids too,
Yes,
to
yes.
get their take on all this.
Yes.
But did her kids ever talk to you about it?
Not really. They didn't really at first. No, they were more like, "Can you take me to see my mom?" or
Yeah.
"Where's my mom?" It was never like, "Why is my mom doing this? Why my mom's doing that?" They never really ever said that to me. They were just more like, "I wish why didn't my mom come?" or "Why didn't this?" or something like that.
Yeah.
But I just explained to them that she'll be back, and I'm just doing this to get you guys to school and be there for you. But they never asked like, "Oh, my mom," nothing like that.
Yeah.
Her kids were strong, really. There's some strong little kids.
Yeah.
Some bad, strong little kids. But,
But now they talk about,
They
the
do.
facts of life, of
Yeah.
what I put them through. And I think that's important for other people to hear as well because we don't never hear that side. We don't hear the side of, 7-year-old and a 9-year-old and a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old telling their side of what they lived through of me and my active addiction.
Well, ladies, we're already out of time, but
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
I stuttered at first.
That's okay.